Anthony Joshua. To the casual fan, he is the two-time heavyweight champion, the face of British boxing, and a global superstar. But beneath the lights, beneath the belts, lies a story filled with shocking twists, hidden truths, and moments that even his die-hard fans have never heard before. This is not just a biography. It is a journey into the untold and unbelievable facts about Anthony Joshua, facts so powerful they will change the way you see him forever. From his troubled past, brushes with the law, secret rituals before fights, and shocking failures that almost destroyed his career, to the insane achievements that turned him into a legend. This is the real Anthony Joshua, raw, unfiltered, and shocking. Before the fame, before the gold medals, Anthony Joshua was far from a role model. Few people know that AJ grew up in Watford, England, in an environment surrounded by crime and temptation. He wasn't always the disciplined athlete the world admires today. In fact, he was arrested multiple times as a teenager for street fights and petty offenses. At one point, he faced serious prison time after being caught with illegal substances. It was during this dark period that Joshua nearly lost everything: his freedom, his future, and his dream of ever becoming someone great. What saved him was boxing, but not in the way most people think. His cousin, Ben Iliemi, dragged him to a local boxing gym, believing it would discipline him. AJ wasn't instantly hooked. In fact, he almost quit multiple times, not knowing that stepping into that ring would one day change the course of his entire life. This is the first shocking truth. Anthony Joshua didn't plan to become a boxer. Boxing found him and pulled him away from a path of destruction. Here's something few fans realize. At the age of 18, Anthony Joshua was wearing an electronic ankle monitor for his behavior. Imagine the future world champion jogging the streets of Watford with a prison tag strapped to his leg, unable to leave certain areas, while the world around him saw him as just another troubled youth destined to fail. Yet, instead of giving in, AJ trained harder. He built his body through relentless gym sessions, lifting weights, running long distances, and shadowboxing every single day, turning humiliation into motivation. Here's something few fans realize. At the age of 18, Anthony Joshua was wearing an electronic ankle monitor for his behavior. Imagine the future world champion jogging the streets of Watford with a prison tag strapped to his leg, unable to leave certain areas, while the world around him saw him as just another troubled youth destined to fail. Yet, instead of giving in, AJ trained harder. He built his body through relentless gym sessions, lifting weights, running long distances, and shadowboxing every single day, turning humiliation into motivation. Anthony Joshua's boxing career didn't begin with polished skills. In fact, he started relatively late, at the age of 18, when most champions have already been training for years. Despite this, his natural athleticism was so extraordinary that within just 5 years, he had climbed to the very top of amateur boxing. His crowning moment came at the 2012 London Olympics, where he won the gold medal in front of his home crowd. But here's the hidden truth: Joshua almost didn't make it to the Olympics. His aggressive style and lack of experience nearly cost him several fights in the qualifiers. Even during the Olympics, many believed he had lost in the quarterfinals against Arislandi Savon. Yet, the judges gave him the decision, sparking controversy. What's shocking is that this lucky break became the turning point of his life. Without it, he may have never become the Anthony Joshua. After his Olympic triumph, AJ turned professional in 2013. But what shocked fans was not just his quick rise. It was the way he demolished opponents with terrifying power. His knockout streak made headlines worldwide, and within just 3 years, he was fighting for the heavyweight world title. In 2016, he captured the IBF Heavyweight Championship by knocking out Charles Martin in 2 rounds. From there, his career exploded. He became a pay-per-view star, selling out Wembley Stadium with over 90,000 fans to watch him defeat Vladimir Klitschko in 2017. A fight many call one of the greatest heavyweight battles in modern history. But here's the shocking truth. During the Klitschko fight, Joshua was nearly finished in the 6th round. He was badly hurt, stumbling across the ring, and for a brief moment, his entire career was on the verge of collapse. Yet somehow, he recovered, summoned energy from nowhere, and knocked Klitschko out in dramatic fashion. That fight was not just a win, it was the night AJ's legend was born. Anthony Joshua, often hailed as one of the most disciplined athletes of the modern boxing era, is not just a powerhouse inside the ring, but also a man with a layered past filled with struggles, controversies, and shocking turns. Beyond the belts and the glory lies a story full of unexpected twists that few fans truly know. One of the most shocking and least discussed facts about Joshua's early life is how close he came to losing everything before his professional career even started. Long before the Olympic medals and the heavyweight belts, Joshua was arrested for possession of cannabis in 2011. What most people don't know is that this wasn't just a small bump in the road. It nearly ended his Olympic dream and future boxing career. Facing the real possibility of prison time, Joshua had to wear a tag on his ankle while training. He balanced the humiliation of court appearances with the discipline of boxing practice. Few know how dangerously close he came to being another what could have been story. Even before the 2011 arrest, Joshua had a history of trouble. He was once held in prison on remand when he was younger. The iron bars, the sound of cell doors closing, and the cold atmosphere were a wake-up call. Joshua himself has admitted that if not for boxing, he could have easily slipped into the cycle of crime. This is the part of his life many don't see: the transformation of a troubled young man into a disciplined world champion. His story proves that the difference between a world-class athlete and a wasted life can sometimes be just one decision. Here's a shocking fact. Anthony Joshua had only 43 amateur fights before becoming an Olympic gold medalist in 2012. Most Olympic champions have hundreds of amateur bouts to sharpen their skills, but Joshua's rise was meteoric. He went from being a relative unknown to standing on top of the podium in London, representing Great Britain. His natural athleticism and raw power were so overwhelming that he accomplished in a few years what takes others a lifetime. Not many fans know that before becoming a professional boxer, Anthony Joshua worked as a bricklayer. He would spend long hours on construction sites, carrying heavy bricks and mixing cement. This grueling physical labor unknowingly conditioned his body for the demands of heavyweight boxing. It was while doing these jobs that Joshua realized he didn't want to spend his life in the shadows of construction sites. He wanted something bigger. This hidden chapter of his life shaped his work ethic and his relentless drive. When people think of Joshua, they imagine an unstoppable force, but few know how fragile his early days in boxing were. In one of his first sparring sessions as an amateur, he was brutally knocked down. The impact shook his confidence and made him question whether he was cut out for the sport. But instead of quitting, Joshua used that moment as fuel, returning stronger, harder, and more determined. That resilience became the foundation of his future success. Joshua's legendary battle against Vladimir Klitschko in 2017 is often remembered as one of the greatest heavyweight fights of this generation. But what most people don't know is that Joshua entered the fight with concerns about a hidden injury in his shoulder. While never officially confirmed, insiders revealed that his training camp wasn't smooth and that he was carrying physical limitations into the ring. Yet, despite those odds, he delivered one of the most dramatic victories in boxing history, getting off the canvas to knock out a legend. The shocking defeat against Andy Ruiz Jr. in 2019 remains one of the biggest upsets in boxing. But what fans rarely know is the speculation about what truly happened that night. Some believe Joshua suffered a panic attack in the dressing room before the fight. Others suggest he had health complications during training camp. While Joshua has denied many of these rumors, the truth remains clouded in mystery. What shocked fans the most was how Joshua reinvented himself after the Ruiz loss. Instead of continuing with the aggressive, knock-you-out style that defined his career, Joshua returned with a more tactical, calculated approach in the rematch. He danced, jabbed, and boxed smartly for 12 rounds, reclaiming his belts. Many thought he wouldn't be able to adjust his style, but he proved he was more than just power. He was a true student of the game. Behind the spotlight, Joshua has quietly given back to communities in ways many don't realize. He has funded gyms, supported youth boxing programs, and donated millions to causes in Nigeria and the UK. Unlike many athletes who advertise every act of generosity, Joshua often keeps his contributions low-key, helping people who may never know his name but whose lives he has changed. This humility behind the scenes is one of his most shocking and admirable traits. Anthony Joshua's list of achievements is nothing short of remarkable. He became the unified heavyweight champion, holding the WBA, WBO, and IBF titles simultaneously. He's one of the few fighters in history to avenge his first career defeat and reclaim his belts in dominant fashion. He headlined stadium fights with over 90,000 fans in attendance, breaking records for British boxing. From Olympic gold to global superstardom, Joshua has secured his place among the modern greats. Despite his towering physique and intimidating presence, Joshua has admitted to fears that most people would never expect. He has spoken about the fear of failure, the fear of letting his family down, and even the fear of not living up to expectations. This vulnerability is something fans rarely see, but it makes him human. Beneath the image of the warrior is a man constantly battling internal pressure.